Hey, family, welcome to Deep South Foodies Live every Sunday. We go live, we have fun. Today, we got another great one. We are having just a little bit of technical difficulties. So, I believe Chef Jaden is supposed to be on with us, but right now he's not, which is, kind of the joys of doing these lives. But don't worry, I got you taken care of. We got another great item today. I always, of course, have a backup plan with us. Today we have an amazing seared trout. Take that back. Today we have amazing sea bass. We looked at trout, but we went with sea bass. So let me get my items out super quick. Hopefully, Chef Jaden is going to join us here in just a minute. Hopefully, our technical difficulties can get past, and we're just going to have a great time hanging out just like we do every single Sunday. So, first things first, let me get my cast iron heating up. I have a nice thick cast iron. And yes, would you please switch it around if I can do so? Boop, 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 boop. Let me get my items out since Chef Jaden is on the way. Tell you what all we got going on today because I'm actually really excited about this. I'm actually happy to be doing this one live. So let me tell you all my ingredients as we get started. All right. So outside of, oop, we got a skew. Wrap it up here. That camera's bumped. That's all good. By the way, yeah, they don't want us to the dehydrator. There we go. It's all good. We're getting it right. Again, getting nice and hot in our tilt skillet. I'm using this electric burner, so it is a massive pain in the buns. So, again, kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to that. So, I have my two pieces of Chilean sea bass looking nice and beautiful. They did have a little bit of a tail. I cut those off just so they'd be uniform. You don't want a super dry end piece and then have an undercooked raw end. So I kind of like everything to be a little bit more unified. So let me walk through what we're going to be doing today. So we have these nice, delicious cauliflower. We have capers, almonds. I have sliver, but I actually prefer the slice. Just kind of you know, unfortunately, the nature of the beast when shopping. Sometimes you get what you want, sometimes you don't. Raisins, fresh mushrooms. I have a mix of mushrooms. So here are some oysters or some shiitakes. I believe these are some nice, big, delicious trumpets. We're going to sear those off in the pan and make those nice and delicious. A little bit of micro greens to make it look nice and beautiful. So parsley and green onions. And then we're going to finish this off with a nice, beautiful brown butter sauce. So I do have nice, beautiful uh, organic butter, really high end butter. I always recommend paying just a wee bit more and getting just a little bit better butter. It makes a huge difference. So behind me, though, I am going to get my oven ready. So let me get this on. There we go. I'm going to bump my oven to about 400 degrees, kind of get it work. Because we're going to start in the pan, but we are going to do a chunk of this in the ovens. So, with that said, again, so we're wanting to get our pan all the way to smoke point. Mary, if you could be on the lookout for Chef Jaden join the room. Chef Bradley could put Chef Bradley on, man. Chef, what's happening, man?
How's it going? How's it going?
Man, we're just hanging out. I think we're having a little technical difficulties. Jaden's not with us yet, but you
Aha.
know, we're
Yeah.
cooking along, man. We're cooking along. That's
Beautiful.
why you know how it is, Chef. You always got to have a backup plan, man. You got to have a backup plan to that backup plan.
Yeah. Always.
So I know
Absolutely, man.
you've been cooking away on social media as well. So tell us about all the things that you've been cooking because you kind
Yes.
of got a cool series going on right now that you're doing. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a series called Southern Something. My Nana, my great grandmother, I got her hand me down cookbook, and it's a bunch of 60s recipes from the Lafayette area in Louisiana. And I mean, some of the dishes are top notch, some of them are
It's a
just
shot in the dark,
disgusting.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's been a range. It's been a very large range. But
yeah.
yeah, it's been really cool working through that cookbook and doing that. And I'm actually set up right now. I'm waiting on my videographer to get here so we can film this coming episode's Hell's Kitchen dish. So
All right. Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that dish, are we?
yeah, exactly.
You're talking about like for just upcoming. Yeah, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, I was about to
Yes,
say, what are
I
you
can
cooking? I
post
was
the
like,
dish after.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, heard
Oh,
that,
I
heard
was
that.
already ready to be careful about that.
All right, all right. So far, where we're at in Hell's Kitchen, what do you think is the biggest surprise so far?
Of course, I mean, the largest thing that's on everyone's hot topic list right now is the old flip off scene at the end of that
Oh
episode.
yeah,
That's
the
got
infamous.
everyone talking.
You know, I don't really remember. I remember disturbance going on over there, but I think I was in that front row, so I didn't get to see the majestic bird being flown
Yeah.
behind me. I unfortunately missed out on that little stack of drama, but I have
Yeah.
I've laughed at that.
Yeah. Yeah, me as well. I think we're all at a point where we can now. So
That's all you can do, right? That's all you can do at this point is
exactly.
laugh. So, all right, we got
Yep.
our pan hot enough. So let me get our. I'm doing some sea bass. I saw some sea bass at Whole Foods today, and just couldn't get my eye
Dude.
off of it. I love sea bass.
Well, without giving away anything else or any more, that is literally what I am cooking tonight as well. So
All right.
that is
Now I'm
wild.
using kosher salt and a little bit of white pepper. I prefer white pepper on my fish. I had a chef that was like their pet peeve was like if they ever saw like black specks on their fish. That was like the surefire way to get cussed out in the kitchen. So I am going to add just a couple drops of some oil to get us rolling. Swirl it around. Now I don't need this piping hot. I'm not trying to add a crazy hot sear, but I am wanting this to be controlled. So we're going to do. You see your skin side here. You can see kind of where that bloodline is. We're going to do the opposite side. Go nice and gentle. All right. And then I do have a trumpet mushroom that I kind of split in half. I'm going to add on into the pan just to add some sear. And I have scored it up. So if anybody needs to see it, just going to kind of work that in the pan to get a nice crust going on that. But it's been interesting to see like the lives, really a year later and see
Yeah.
how all of that, how you're being portrayed, what's the storyline? I hate to say it like that
Yep.
because it's a reality TV show, so I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there is some element of that, right? They can't catch everything and put everything out there, so they have to cut what they see. Is there?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if there's one thing that you want everyone in TV land to know about Chef Bradley, what's that?
Um, I don't think I'm as goofy as I was portrayed. There's a lot of just me standing there kind of with my mouth open, sitting there. I'm like, I think I did a pretty good job of keeping communication.
Yeah,
I get a little lost, but man, they made me just look like a deer in headlights, and again, it's reality TV. We signed up for this, but yeah.
yeah. It's difficult because they're really only showing what I feel like is a very, very small sliver of dinner service.
Yeah.
And in this last one, I really don't feel like they captured everything that happened in that dinner service at all. I mean, I thought there were some other great moments. They
Yep.
got an undercooked lamb out of, was it Henry or Antonio? But they were making good. They were getting good stuff all night.
Yeah.
Same thing with like there was moments where even Chris and I looks like we came pretty much unscathed. But I know we didn't go unscathed that night in appetizers. It was the second night of appetizers. There's no way we were perfect by any means.
Of course.
So it's impossible to be perfect in Hell's Kitchen almost, especially on your second shift.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Let's flip these over and just kind of get a look at the undersides. Looking great. Gonna keep letting them work. I think a lot of people flip their fish too fast. So we're gonna kind of let it
Yeah,
do
that's
its
how I
thing.
burned myself.
So, oh my gosh, so Burngate 2025. All right, because I know like the Reddit page was kind of throwing you under the bus a little bit, and that's fine. That's what Reddit's for,
Yeah.
right? We all
Oh yeah. Oh
accept
yeah.
what Reddit is. It's all good. But
Yeah.
what was the reality of that moment? Like, was it because I remember seeing the burns and I felt like I could verify to television land that that was a certified like second degree burn.
Oh
And so
yeah.
it's interesting now that, did you got I hate to say the keyboard jockeys because, I get it. They're fans,
Yep.
but they don't understand the real reality of cooking. There really are a bunch of Susie homemakers who might maybe at best cook at home. Very few are actually in the industry.
Yeah.
Um, that was wild to kind of look back and see everyone's reaction, and then everybody kind
Truly.
of going after you a little bit. I was kind of shocked at that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of the way that it was shown. I burned
Yeah,
myself real bad. I mean, I got the whole bottom of
you
my
did.
palm with hot oil, and other than that, though, I tried to hide it from Gordon, and someone, they had to have told him in his ear. I turned around and he had his finger on his ear, and he looks at me and he says, "Come here, young man." And I'm like, "Ah, shit." So he's
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, show me your hand," and it's shaking, and he was like, "Medic now." So they didn't show Gordon Ramsay actually telling me to go see the medic.
right. You
Yeah,
know, things that you miss out on. When you're not there in person. So I'm going to pull this fish
exactly.
off just for a moment. Again, I don't want to. I'm going to add just a little bit more oil to the pan. Kind of swirl that around, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of cauliflower to the pan. Give it a little bit of a stir. Again, salt and white pepper. So, what's been the worst dish that you've made in your grandmother's on your list? Hold on, we got a question.
Mm.
Which question you got? Is our camera down? It made me tiny. No worries. No worries. Setting right. Boom. There we go. Oh, you're good. There we go. I got you. I got us back on track. There we go. It's all good. Everyone's big again. All right, so I'm gonna pop these bad boys down in our oven. We're gonna let those work for a little bit. All right. So while that works, what was the
I can't
worst
hear you, John.
dish? You can't hear me. All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
John, your sound is out on my end. I can't hear anything.
All right.
Hmm.
Hey, Victoria. Can you hear me now?
Still no sound over here.
There we go. So they can't hear me on there. Okay. Um, okay, that can be heard.
Well, I don't know if you
Thank
guys
you.
can hear me, but
We can't hear
I
you. We
did
can't
just hear
hear
the
you.
dogs barking, so I gotta go. But
You're good,
I
brother.
love you guys.
Hey, love you, buddy. There we go. So I know we got a couple of people who've just joined on. So let's recap where we're at. You know, Chef Bradley's been awesome and hanging out with us. We have seared sea bass. We've got it currently seared, sitting right here. So what? Oh, we couldn't hear each other. It's all good. You know, the joys of growing pains, right? Kind of learning how this all this technology works. It's a lot harder than it looks, actually. The So we seared off one big piece of mushroom. We've got it in there with some cauliflower, which is adding just a little bit of color to that cauliflower. So the big conversation, you know, amongst the competitors from this weekend is, you know, one, the finger gate and how all of that went down. It's crazy to look back in person. You know, Chef Alex is you know, she's quite the personality. So again, she's kind of has, and I respect it. She has a like all of me or you don't, I don't really care attitude, and I kind of respect it. I mean, it's kind of something that rubs you off the wrong way the first couple times you meet them, and I hope maybe they can come on the show and chat with us and talk about what it's like to be the real life supervillain in a Hell's Kitchen episode. But you know, I've always had much respect for her. All right, is there any questions in the chat? We're gravy train. All right. So if you're not doing sea bass, you say, Chef, sea bass is way too expensive. You could easily do this dish with grouper or snapper. I think it would even really work well with catfish done properly and really, again, understanding what I like about sea bass has got a little bit more meaty to it. It's got that perfect meat to fat to flaky to buttery ratio, and that's what makes it such a sought after dish. That's why this is $29 a pound versus, you know, $12 a pound for snapper. You know, it's a really sought after fish. And being of course an import, I guess it adds that allure, if you will. All right, so let's take a look at this cauliflower. Hopefully it's getting close. Scared to open the door too soon. So, some things kind of going on in the room, just to kind of talk about some things coming up while I've got a moment. I guess be a little bit of a commercial, if you will. We've got amazing peppers that are being dehydrated here. We have probably 40 pounds of miscellaneous peppers over here to stage right, my left. And we've got cowboy was it cowboy candy being made. We're making our own dry chili powder. I'm wanting to make our own sweet chili sauce and make a couple different things with all that. Yeah, just that's the joys of the farm. So it's kind of our last major harvest. I think most everything else was destroyed by the pigs. So it's really peppers, and we do have a few tomatoes. We found a watermelon. The pigs will inevitably break out and find the one watermelon that we have. That's the trend. That's the trend. All right, so let me check on our cauliflower here. All right, it's starting to get a little brown. So I'm going to kind of pull those off to the side. And we're going to continue to work in a one dish setup. So I'm going to take our fish, being super gentle with it, add it back in. Super, super careful with it. There we go. We really wanted to add like a nice, deep, rich brown to this cauliflower. Add some nice color to it. When we go to add in the brown butter sauce, that's going to do a lot for this as well. What I don't want to do is just absolutely jack the heat for the sake of adding color because I'm going to burn this fish. Again, sea bass is all about being super, super delicate. We don't want to overdo it. So take your time, enjoy the process. This dish, again, it's pretty much a one dish wonder for if you're cooking for 2 to 4 people, which I have my lovely lady here. So I'm cooking for us two tonight. Although I'm sure some other kids are going to be sneaking their hands and stuff in there. All right, looking good. Go ahead. Cooked about 60% of the way through, 60 to 80%. I'll go ahead and give them just a little bit of a push over. Use my spatula for this so I don't split it. So fabulous. Again, be nice and gentle with it. Don't feel like you got to rush it. Sous chef, could you do me a huge favor? I forgot to get 2 plates. Could you grab me 2 plates to plate up on? I totally forgot. I had chef. Not really. All right. Nice and gentle on these. Again, we don't want to overcook. I'd rather pull these, let them rest, and let them carry overcook than overdo it at this point. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. That one will do great. So what we're looking for is for it to be slightly firm. But what we don't want to have happen is you'll see like all the fat coming out the sides, that puffy whiteness. We want to avoid that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my mushrooms. They are looking beautiful, exactly the way I want them. Got nice color on the cauliflower. I'm going to pull all that out here in just a minute. But I am waiting for this cauliflower to get just a little bit more tender. Y'all have any thoughts though on this past week's show? I mean, it seemed like a pretty relatively tame show. I mean, it was, I say tame, it was 3 eliminations, and you had the Chase leaving. You got all the makings of a great episode. So if you've not watched it, highly recommend going and watching it. I remember seeing one of the Reddit people saying that that was one of the first episodes in 10 seasons that reminded them of the old school Hell's Kitchen, where you know kicking everybody out. All right. I got the fish about 80% of the way done. I'm gonna pull that up again. Let me lift this up and kind of show you the color that we got on this cauliflower. Look at that, nice and beautiful. So I'm going to add in the remainder of my mushrooms. Again, I got a nice, good mix in there. And we do need to put just a little bit of color on as well. Now we got this nice, beautiful, flaky fish. So we are needing to add some acid to help break up that fat. And we're going to do that in 2 different ways. So first off, we're going to be making a brown butter sauce. So to stop that brown butter cooking process, we're going to stop that cooking with sherry vinegar, a nice aged sherry vinegar. That's going to add a nice depth of taste, a great acid. And then the last one we're going to finish it with is just a little bit of capers as well. To add to the sweetness of the fish, again, trying to hit every flavor point, we're going to be adding in some raisins. I prefer the yellow raisins, but they are near impossible right now to find inside of a grocery store. So I'll put a link down in the description so you'll be able to find one through Amazon. That would probably, I wish I had thought a little bit further ahead so I could be able to do that. If you see that you're getting stuck on the bottom, just give it a little, just give it a little bit of scrape here, a little scrape there. Looking great. Okay, let's add just a little bit more salt for our mushrooms. Add just a little bit of white pepper. All my dogs outside are going absolutely buck wild. You hear shenanigans going on behind me. So we had a great week on the farm this week. So speaking of the farm and all the dogs and all the fun, I don't know if anybody saw the photo yesterday on Instagram or Facebook, but we went and got new rabbit hutches. So we've got brand new, amazing rabbit hutches for our rabbits. I have three amazing daughters, each in their own phase has been guilty of this, but right now it is I think, somewhat of their innocence, I believe. I think they're just innocent children and they don't think about these things. But they got four cute little bunnies a while back, four does, so they're all girls. And then someone came around and gave them a buck, a boy. And so they thought to themselves, oh, we'll just put this little buck in with the girls and it'll be great. They'll just be happy. They don't think about the ramifications or hurt of things like doing it like rabbits. So now I have four pregnant does. Yes. Hey, Granny. Granny's in the building. Granny's in the building. This would be right up Granny's alley. So I am going to go ahead and add just a hit of sherry to this so I can go ahead. I want to add some acid to the mushrooms and all of this, but this is not going to be the main sauce. This is just to kind of add a little bit of flavoring. I'm getting locked through the window. All right, and for now, I'm going to set this aside. Yeah, we're going to build up our plate here in just a moment because we're getting very, very darn close. Yeah, I told you we're making this all in one single dish. All right, we're going to achieve just that. Only one thing to wash tonight. That's our dream. That's our goal, right? Right, baby? Only one thing that I got to wash, right? You guys got to wash everything else. You hear how she does it? Hear how she does me like that? I'm not that bad. I'll admit, I'm better than I used to be. I used to be the salt over the shoulder, getting wild and crazy with it. All right, so now it's time to build our sauce, and then we're gonna put this plate together. We need to put just a little bit more finish on our fish, which is perfect. So we're gonna add in, let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, say 10 little tablespoons of butter. I'm going to gently add my fish back in. I am gonna put them presentation side up. I'm gonna start to brown this butter. Got to be careful because of where the seam is in that fish. I definitely don't want to overdo that, break my fish. Definitely don't want to overcook it. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of give it some little bit of basting action. Get us a nice, beautiful, buttery fish. Now, the key is with this sauce in particular is that we want to have everything in place for when the sauce is done. You don't want to be doing the sauce super earlier in the day. It's just not going to happen. So we're going to build up our plates now for when that sauce is done. So while that butter is getting nice and light brown, we're going to start building up our two plates here. So again, nice, good little delicious pile on top, right dead center. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I like to. I'm very big on center of the plate. I know that's not very modern. I'm sure that makes some chefs absolutely cringe, but I'm a nice, firm pile in the middle kind of guy. I like height on my plate more so than weird decorations. Nice little mushroom. This little mushroom. I feel like Bob Ross is going to put this nice little mushroom right there. Again, let's give it a little bit more base while it's getting brown. Again, all this sauce is going to come to play in just a minute. In the meantime, we want to get this nice and beautiful. I got somebody already over here pre-sneaking dinner, munching down. Okay, I've got just a little bit more to go on this fish. I think the smaller one is already done, so I'm going to pull it. There we go. One's done. And number two is done. Ka-chow. All right, now we want to get this nice and light brown. We definitely need to be super careful because we're kind of working on two things. We're about to toast some almonds and add some gherkins and some all of our stuff here, but we got to be super careful not to overcook this butter. There's a very thin line between delicious brown butter sauce and burnt butter. So again, we got to make sure that we are paying attention. And feel free to keep giving it some swirls, letting it kind of work its magic. Let's kind of spread the caramelization out. Once we get to a nice little light brown, we're going to start to add in all of our goodness that we've got spread around here. So we've got our nice two full plates ready to go. I'm super hungry just smelling this. All right. So we got a nice little golden brown starting to happen on the foam. I am going to add in our slivered almonds. Again, going to give those a nice, beautiful little swirl here. We're just going to let those work. Just kind of let those work. Let them toast up, get nice and beautiful. Yeah, have your sherry vinegar on deck because that is what stops our cooking process. And as soon as we're done with the cooking process, it's immediately over the fish. It's got to be super quick for this to happen and for it to be done right, or you're going to have a weird split sauce that's going to be all over your plate. It's still going to be delicious. It's just not going to be as impressive. Orlando's in the building. What's up, brother, man? What's happening, Orlando? Orlando from Orlando. We need to make another trip to Orlando.
Maybe we can go visit Orlando.
We need to, yeah, maybe Orlando can, yeah, we could take us to the best restaurants in Orlando. Orlando, if you got like the restaurant to go to in Orlando, what's that gonna be? What's if you gotta say, man, this is the restaurant you got to go to while you're down here? Where's that at? I'd like to know. That's
He said it'd be his pleasure, but I'm sure he's checking the next one.
we're getting nice and beautiful. That foamy. That's what we're looking for. Toasting up those almonds. We're getting light brown on the almonds, so I'm going to add in my raisins. Again, we'll start adding those in. Those are going to kind of plump in the sauce here as they cook. Keep it moving. We're overdue for taking the show on the road. You know what I mean? Like I know living in Atlanta real estate has already talked to us about going and hitting the best restaurants in Atlanta. I think that's going to be a super fun episode. So I think while we're out that way for the holidays, that's something we're going to be recording together, going all over Atlanta, hitting some amazing spots. You smell the nuttiness and the butter. It's really good. Raisins are starting to plump up. They're also kind of releasing some of the little bit of juice that they do have in there. So I'm going to add in a few capers. Now, capers, be careful because when you're adding in capers, you're adding in a great bit of salt. So we do want to be super careful on those. Don't get too wild with them. I also strained off all the juice, so I don't get a bunch of weird juice in there and kind of muddies down the flavor. All right. So let me show you what this looks like at this point because we're just about there. We're literally probably within 20 seconds of adding in our sherry vinegar and stopping this whole process. So look at our almonds. They're nice and toasty and brown, looking amazing. The grapes are plumping up. Our sauce is light to medium brown, but it is not black. All right, and that's exactly what we're looking for. So, all right, you ready? Get set. All right, kabow, kabow. One more little hit of parsley there. I was a little too short on that. Now it's time to stop the brown butter cooking process. There we go. Got a couple swirls. And then now it is time to top it off. And we're going to go right on top with it. Bring it off the heat so we don't split it.
Orlando said it's a little hole in the wall called Charlie's Steak.
Charlie steak.
Cheesesteak. 50. No, the chain with the Orlando.
I love a good cheesesteak. All right. Here we go. And of course, you could fancy it up. This is optional, right? I got to be my chefy self. You know, got to add a couple little micros to it, make it look all beautiful. You know, not 100% necessary, but you know, us chefs, we can't help ourselves. We can't help it. We can't help it. I think this is one of the most aromatic dishes. I mean, the whole house smells like brown butter now. Turn this off so I don't burn my elbow on it again. And then there we go. That's it right there. Were you going to come try it with me?
Let's try.
Not on this one. Um, you got me, sous chef. Look, this was an absolute easy dish. We did everything in one pan. I felt like I truly held my end of the bargain today. Everything in one pan. And in 30 minutes.
Like 38 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, we had a little bit of a slow kickoff. So let's take a look at this fish and get everything out of our way. So let's break our fish. Look how nice, look how moist that is right there. Again, everything right there is absolutely perfect. It's moist. It's cooked through. It is not dry. There we go. Absolutely delicious. That sherry vinegar really adds the acid that you need. And maybe use, and again, it's just me. I really like the taste of a vibrant orange or a, sorry, lemon zest over the top. But the cauliflower, the mushrooms, the brown butter sauce mixed in with the capers and raisins, it really makes this sweet, savory. It really hits like every check mark that you're looking for. That is absolutely beautiful. Super easy, one pan dish. Could be done in easily, probably even faster if the oven had already been pre-turned on. I really had to be honest with you. In restaurants, we cook this dish in 15 minutes. When you know what you're doing and you've done this dish a couple times, it's just boom, 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 and it's done. That's one of the reasons why I love this dish. Well, my name is Jonathan. It's been an absolute pleasure. Do we have any questions? Outstanding questions? Okay. So it's been an absolute pleasure, but don't leave just yet. I know from the statistics from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok that many of you who watch this are not subscribed yet. So make sure that you hit subscribe. In the queue for new videos, we have some amazing stuff coming up. Um, we are cooking cowboy candy with all of these peppers. We've got how to make, we're making the most epic hamburger ever made next week. That'll be one that's pre recorded. Of course, we'll have our normal live next week. We might even have a guest chef. So, again, we'll have more information. So, make sure you're subscribed so you see all that information out. I'll have the recipe for this and next week's dish posted in. My name is Jonathan. My sous chef over here, her name is Mariev. And we are absolutely thankful that you're here. Thank you for all the support, the love. This is like one of my favorite parts of the week. You know, it's the work week is always, it's always stressful, but it's a great week. But this is the time to, I feel like I cook with friends and family. And so it's just it's a blessing to be here and cook. So we'll see you next week at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central for all you fellow Mississippians. And it's been a pleasure. Signing out. Gonna eat this whole dish